This video is a live webinar of why you should learn AI agents, but I'll give you a quick prelude on why you should learn AI agents because recently, September 7th, which is like 7 days ago as of recording, 4,000 people were laid off and they were replaced with agents. AI agents, but at Salesforce, they call it Agent Force. And this is even happening in the business sphere. Adam Robinson, 140,000 followers, he just automated his $6 million a year business. He replaced all FTEs. For 7 days, the entire business ran on agents, literally AI agents. And he's bragging about, how good they are, how much better they are than humans, blah, blah, blah. So in this video, you're going to watch a webinar of me explaining basically how not to get automated by agents if you're an individual worker, and how to learn agents so you can automate your business. It's just a kickoff free webinar. I even show you how to build an agent. I give you free access to free tools, tips, like one of them joining my automation community. So enjoy the video and I'll see you in school. So in this presentation, we're going to talk about AI automation, specifically about AI agents. Let's see if I can click to the next screen. There we go. Now, before we get into AI automations, AI agents, let's talk about the pattern of technological disruptions, the biggest technology shifts that we've seen over the past 50 years. That's really changed like the entire fabrics of society. We can go back all the way, like thousands of years, but we'll start with the typewriter. Because the typewriter changed how we communicated. Like it made, I guess, productivity like 100 times faster versus writing with a hand or whatever the number is. And then the computer came out, the personal computer came out with Steve Jobs and with this guy here, and that just changed the way how we did everything, obviously. But it wasn't really until the dot-com bubble that really changed stuff. Like, yeah, a lot of us had computers, but not everybody had computers. The dot-com bubble came around and came up with an entire new way of how we work. It came up with the internet, came up with the current FAANG situation like Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, etc. It came up with the SaaS business model, which like every single tech company has a SaaS model. Even Apple has that. Digital marketing came out from that. And then shortly after the iPhones came out, so, yeah, you could argue around the same time, but then the iPhones came out. We all had iPhones. We all had to like get iPhones. We all had to learn iPhones, just like how we had to learn how to use the internet, how to use computers, and so on. Now I would argue that we're into AI automations. It's not just AI, it's not just automations, it's the two combined together. It's how you use them. And this is quite literally changing the workforce, how we all work as workers. Because now this is a new tool or a set of tools that we all have to use, and it's going to make what we do like we're all going to be extremely more productive, or we're going to be replaced by the people that are having these tools that are 5 times more productive than we are. So what's happened in the AI space? Well, AI space has been around for a while. It started off machine learning. We all knew about machine learning before AI came out. But it wasn't until ChatGPT came out like 2 years ago when everyone was scared shitless because generative AI came out. We're like, oh my God, generative AI is going to replace all of our jobs. And then it turns out that generative AI was just a chat agent, and that's all it could really do. It could chat, and yeah, there's been improvements since then, big improvements. It can do image generation, it can do video generation, it can read documents, it has much larger context windows. All that stuff is great, but it wasn't really until automations came out, like as of last year, but didn't really get popular until this year. The automations really changed the game because it went from just being like a simple chat, as you can see here, to being entire complex multi-orchestrate workflows that can literally do the job of 5 people, 10 people within seconds versus days. So that really moves the needle. And this is what's quite literally changing the workforce right now. I'm going to give you some examples of that. So a lot of you are probably talking like, yeah, you're probably thinking like, how ChatGPT was like 3 years ago. Like, it's just a chatbot. Like AI is just chat. It's not going. AI agents, they can't replace humans. The technology isn't ready. It's not really there. Wrong. Mark Bernioff, Salesforce CEO, just replaced 4,000 support workers. These are the cheapest workers, like the Philippines workers, the offshore workers. Just replaced them with AI agents. Why? Because AI agents are always available. They're always on. They're one-tenth the cost. They don't complain ever, like us humans. We're complaining. We're unreliable. Like, for example, today, there's supposed to be 50 of us, but there's only four of us. So humans, right? It's just facts. We're humans. We're unreliable. Computers aren't. They're they're always on. They're always working. Yes, there's bugs, but you can program it to have like 99% uptime, right? So those rules will never go back to humans. They're always going to be AI agents. Okay, well, what about you're probably thinking like, okay, fine, AI agents exist and they're taking out our jobs, but like I'm a developer. I'm like a daemon. I'm a sophisticated guy. I know how to build this stuff. Like I should be fine, right? No. You're not fine. Why? Because Coinbase just fired a bunch of engineers for literally not using AI or not using AI good enough that increased their outputs. Like literally just happened a few days ago. This isn't fake news. This is real. And now you're thinking like, okay, but I'm a business owner, right? I'm a business owner. It's fine. Like AI is not going to take out my business. How can AI agents take out my business? Well, look at this guy, Adam Robinson, one of the biggest marketers. He's got this company called RB2B, which identifies hidden traffic, hidden visitors that hit your website. Well, he is a perfect example of a company that just recently automated their entire sales, support, and development with zero intervention, and their revenue is only going up and up and up. So if they just automated all of that, which means they got rid of the humans, then what do you think they're doing with all that extra money that they're pulling in? Well, guess what? They're going to outspend you. That's what they're going to do with that extra money. They're going to put in sales, into advertising, or whatever. They're going to spend that money to make their product better and or acquire your customers. So eventually, you're just going to be so far behind the company that's, fully automated with agents versus you. They're going to get significantly ahead in terms of product. Product quality is going to go up and spend and the velocity of how much they spend on marketing. You can't compete. There's no way you can compete against an army of AI agents that are always running and always working at 1/10 or 1/100th the cost as humans. You can't compete. So you're going to get beaten. Like it's just math. It's simple math, and there's no way you can compete with math like that. So you'll lose. And that's what all businesses will lose to the ones that are doing this. This is just simple fact. So AI isn't coming like we thought it was a few years ago. It's here. It's already replacing our jobs. It's replacing the high skilled jobs such as the engineers, and it's replacing businesses as well. So we all have to basically we have a choice. Like we can learn to use AI automations. You can't just be AI. It can't just be automations. It has to be both, or else you just won't be able to do it. Like you can't do automations without using AI, and you can't use AI without automations because AI by itself can't do much. So we're all gonna have to learn it, or we can go live on farms and just go back to the farms and be rice farmers or corn farmers or whatever it is, or be electricians. But yeah, we're all gonna have to learn this stuff. Like that's just it. So what can you do to learn this stuff? So this is the argument for why learning AI, just simple AI, isn't enough. For example, simple AI is just an AI tool that does one thing at one time. You ask ChatGPT for help with one task. It's called like a single shot prompt. You give the single shot prompt, it gives you an answer. Great, cool. Whereas AI automations work 24/7 without you telling to do it, they just work. And they can quite literally be orchestrated workflows of AI agents that handle everything. So it can quite literally replace departments of people, as we saw in the example here, sales, support, and development can do that. Now, I know you've seen a lot of the workflows like this one here, where it won't let me zoom, but you've seen these workflows and people claiming like, oh, I automated an entire department. And then, you go and you try the workflow yourself and you're like, there's a lot of red boxes, it's not working or whatever. And you're like, this doesn't work. It can't do what it says it can't do. Well, guess what? That workflow worked for that company that it was built for. All these workflows that you see were built for specific companies, specific processes, and specific procedures. So it worked for that. Will it work for every company? Probably not, because they have to be tweaked because every company has different processes and procedures. Like the way that Adam Robinson automated his sales support and development, if you copied and pasted those workflows, those AI automations, those agents, it will not work with your company because the way that you do sales is different than the way that he does sales. The way that you do support is different than the way that he does support. The way that he does development in his company is different than how you do it and how every other company does it. Everybody does it differently. There's commonalities, but then there's differences. So you literally can't copy and paste a workflow and apply it to everything. It has to be modified. And that means that everybody is going to have to know to do this. At least everybody that's in business, everybody that's in a digital job like we are. We're on Zoom right now. We got Ta here that's in Vietnam or in America or something like that. I don't know, but the point is we're all over the world right now. So we're all going to have to learn to do this stuff. Cool. Now, you need to understand that there's different levels of automation. Take a sip of my coffee here, 1 second. This is something that's of all the stuff that's on LinkedIn. Let me pull up LinkedIn, for example. Of all the stuff that I guess let's turn, yeah, there. Okay. Let's pull over this. So we go on LinkedIn and you see all the stuff about automations. Like this guy is talking about automations. This is politics. This is automations here, right? Automating content generation. Here, this guy is talking about self-hosted. It's the N8N showing N8N. This guy's one of the biggest automated creators. One thing that you see across all these creators, like here's another guy here. Really cool stuff, by the way. This is actually a really cool video. No wonder it's got like 1,200 comments. Like a super awesome video. But the point that I'm sorry. Point that I'm making here is that none of these creators, these influencers, these educators are talking about this. They're not explaining the different levels of automations. You 100% have to know this because if you don't know this, then you're not going to understand how to automate things. So, for example, there's 5 different levels of automations, starting from level 0, which is just human doing a task without any intervention or any type of automation intervention, right? That's level 0. Level 1 is assistive, which is the chat GPTs of the world. That is the AI's role is the recommender and researcher, and the human is the decision maker. Like that's it. We all know level 1. We all use it. At least almost all of us do. Everyone that's interfaced with ChatGPT knows level 1. Cool. And we know that level 1's pretty limited with what it can actually do. Like, yeah, it can write articles, it can critique our stuff, it can, I don't know, read documents that we give it. It can make videos. Cool. But what if we want it to basically execute on a series of steps that we give it? Like, what if we wanted to like check an email, send an email, based on that, fire off and do some other things? Well, that's level 2. Level 2 is partial automation. That's like task executor. That's like they're executing a routine. The AI agents can do a bunch of things, but before they finish the job, they require a human input. Like they will, I don't know, you give them a list of leads and you say, hey, go through each of these leads, evaluate them, generate email sequence for them. Before you fire off that email sequence, I want you to notify you, the human, and I want to review this stuff. I want to manually review this stuff before it's fired off because, like I just want to see the outputs. I want to make sure that the content's correct and all that stuff, right? So that's level 2. Level 3 is much more complex. It's like, okay, you're having AI agents that are all working together, and they're working together to basically do what a team of people would do. So it could run entire workflows under end-to-end conditions, and it can solve a lot of things by itself. Like, for example, you give it a document, and in the document, you say, I want you to extract these things. And then once you're done extracting these things, which is based on these conditions, which are ambiguous conditions. Like it's not if, then, or this. It's just like, oh yeah, like pull out all the red boxes, but if it looks like a blue box, and maybe don't throw that out. Like complex conditions like that a human can do. And then that gets sent to another AI agent. That other AI agent has to, based on a list of instructions, which we call prompts, has to basically do a bunch of things and then kind of figure out like, oh, like, is this document any good? Maybe it's bad. Maybe I throw it away. Maybe I send it to another agent to review, for example. That other agent, picks it up and tries to review. Maybe it can't extract the information from it. So maybe there's a specialized agent that has to do something like that. I don't know. Point being is that I'm just making this all up as I go. So maybe a terrible example, but point being is that it's a bunch of AI agents all working together, kind of like a team of humans would work together. It's the same idea. And they're working together to get something done. And you, as the human, the only thing you're really doing is just kind of like reviewing what they're doing in the dashboard. That's what you're doing. So, and you get alerted if there's something unusual, something breaks or something like that. But the human is like pretty much not touching anything for like 80%. This is like almost 80% fully automation, right? Which 80% is pretty much there. It's like basically full automation. Um, and then there's number four. Number four is it's like the AI agents that are all working together, they can now self-fix themselves. So if there's an error, they know how to fix it themselves. So what does the human doing in this situation? Well, the human's role is to just define the high-level goals, the constraints, and just make sure that compliance is being met. Like that's really it.
Take a turn,
So,
Baba. Yeah, take a
hey, Christine.
turn.
Oh, we got a bunch of people in here. That's awesome.
I want to take it. This
Christine,
is
can you mute
easier.
yourself? I'm going to mute you. Okay, there we go. You muted Christine. So if you're all jumping in here right now, I don't know when everyone just jumped in here, but I guess I'll finish this off and I'll do a quick recap. So level five automation, which I don't think has been done yet, or I don't even think level four has been done. I think what we're all at is around level two, level three. That's all the workflows that we're seeing is basically level two, level three. I haven't really seen any issues of any examples of level four yet. Level five is like that is basically just robots running everything, and we're on a beach in Mexico or in Bali with a Corona, and we're just sipping back, and that's it. AI agents just does everything. That's the future. I haven't seen any examples of this yet, but so we're gonna figure it out because, if we can have an entire organization that's just running by itself and the only thing humans are doing are just setting the strategic vision and governance, basically being the board of directors, and everything else is agents, especially if it's like a SaaS business, then that's incredible, right? That's extremely incredible because the cost of your business will be practically zero, very close to zero operational costs compared to humans. It'd be like one thousandth of the cost of a human for every minute or every gigabit of output, for example. Um, and the speed would be quite literally 100 to 1,000x faster. So the profit would just be like it would be like a rocket ship going up to the moon. So yeah, every single company is going to be trying to get to level five because it's like extreme profit. The most profit you can achieve is level five, but it's going to be the hardest to achieve. So yeah, taking a step back real quick, I was talking about a lot of people kind of don't think that that AI automations are already here. They are. 4,000 people were just laid off. And these are support workers in the Philippines or whatever, were just laid off to AI agents. And those jobs are never coming back to humans. AI agents have taken them over. These are low skilled workers. But now you're probably thinking, okay, I'm a high skilled worker like an engineer. My job's safe. It's not. Engineers are getting fired. And they're getting fired because they just don't want to use AI, or they're not using AI well enough. That's increasing their output. So companies are expecting you to be faster and better and to use AIs to be faster and better. So they're expecting you to do more with They expect you to output more with with newer tools, like the AI automation tools, for example. And then we have the Adam Robinsons of the world that are proving that, hey, even though you're a business owner, you're not safe because business owners are getting automated as well. And they're getting automated by people like Adam Robinson, and he's not directly taking out, a business. Like he's not acquiring a business, for example. He's out competing a business, out competing in a way that he's just automated his entire sales, support, and development. And so what do you think he's doing with all the savings? Like that's like $1 million or $2 million in operational savings. And assuming that it's doing the same thing as humans or better, then that means his profit has gone up like 2x, 3x, just like that, snap of the fingers. So what do you think he's doing with those money? Well, he's going to outspend you as the competitor. He's coming after your business. He's coming after your customers. He's going to spend every single ounce of that extra $1 million in savings, putting that straight into marketing. Your business is going to be gone. If you're competing against RB2B, good luck. Good luck. You're gone. There's no way you can compete against that unless you do the exact same thing. So that's the point. So we're all impacted by this. So basically the point is we all have to learn automations. And so that's where I got to here with this is the different levels of automation, all the way from zero being just humans, level one being ChatGPT, level two being it can do agents can work together, but before they finish doing a process, it requires a human to review and approve. Level three is they can basically all the agents can work together and do the thing without the human input. The human just sits back and just gets alerted if there's like a really, really weird edge case. That edge case means like there's just all these agents working together just can't solve it. They don't know. They don't know. So a human needs to get thrown in the loop. This would be like 1 out of 100, maybe 1 out of 1,000, for example. So it's a really low rate. Or something breaks, which, it happens. Like cars breaks, code breaks, it all breaks. But then level four is, well, don't worry. The AI agents can handle those things that the humans were doing. They can handle if the code breaks, they fix it. It fixes itself. And then I forget the second part. Uh, the alerts, if there's like a weird ambiguous situation they don't know how to handle, they'll know how to handle it. These AI agents will be smart enough to basically think how a human would think and react the same way a human could, which is, and I argued that we're basically at level three right now. Like for example, with Adam Robinson, what he's doing with his company, I would argue this is level three. I don't really see any evidence of this being level four. I bet that there's still humans monitoring this, monitoring the dashboard. There's still things breaking. I can't see this as, the code is being self-fixing itself. Based on, I've been reading his content a lot, based on everything he's saying. He's been documenting his journey of getting to full AI agent automation, and he's been talking about how I've been tweaking things, fixing things, changing things. He's a sales guy by training, but he learned automations, and I assume he's hired specialists such as me, like automation creators, automation engineers such as myself, and he has a team of people probably, managing this stuff as well, but he still needs to automate things as well. And he's talked about the things that he's automated. So that's why in this presentation, I'm arguing that everybody needs to know this. Either you can be a basic level or not. Now, this brings me into I said earlier that you can't just know only automations. You can't just know only AI. You have to know them together because it's like using the different AIs out there, the ChatGPTs, the Claudes, the Perplexity, the Geminis. These are all workers. These are your workers, but they're workers that have different capabilities and skill sets. So you need to know that, for example, if you need a marketing worker, the marketing guy to go to is Claude. You go to Claude because Claude is the best at writing. Almost all of the content that you see right now on LinkedIn that's gone viral is almost all written by Claude. If you use Claude a lot for writing, you will know it's written by Claude. If you don't use Claude, then you'll just think it's a human writing it. It's not. Almost everything that we see, almost all this content that we're seeing right now is already AI generated. Like basically all of this. Um, Let me find a good example. This. This is either ChatGPT or Claude. You can tell by that. This is Claude, 100% Claude, because it's just straight to the point. Fired 197. That's written by Claude. This is Claude 100% because Claude likes to use these arrows. I know this because I use Claude. But whenever you see arrows like this, 100% written by Claude. So so Claude is the best writer. Cool. Well, it's like, what if you need the graphic designer? What if you need the person that knows how to make graphics, read graphics, make videos, and all that stuff? That's Gemini. Gemini is quite literally the best at that. And we're already seeing examples of that all over LinkedIn and any of the social medias. I think we just saw one down here. That was a really good example. This one here, see? This is a video generated by Nano Banana, which is Gemini's newest video. It's video, I think it's video and image model. Basically, the great thing that Banana is good at doing. So if we go into Gemini, and see, try the new image editor. So Nano Banana is the new one. The cool thing that Nano Banana is really good at is you can give it an image, give it any image, and you can tell it in that image to like make yourself on fire. And that's what he's done here on the left-hand side. Let me zoom in and make this bigger here. So this is the cool new thing it can do. You can give it an image and then you can tell it to modify the image and it will only modify exactly what you told it to modify and it will keep everything else the same. This is incredible because so far none of the other nothing else can do this. ChatGPT can't do this. With ChatGPT, if you gave it an image or if it made an image and you said, "Hey, that's the fire that you did is cool, but can you change it to lightning?" It will change the entire image. It will change the background. It will change the color. It will change everything. It won't change that one thing that you told it to change. It will not do that. Okay. So like Gemini is just by far the best. So it's the best at making images, the best at image editing images, the best at video. There's nothing better than that. Okay, what about the nerd? What about that nerd that can research anything, that research analyst? That's Perplexity. Perplexity is the best at research. There's nobody better than Perplexity. Perplexity is even better than Google. Like it can find things that Google can't even find. I know this because I've tested this shit out of Perplexity. Pardon my French. And then what's that guy that can do everything? Well, that's ChatGPT. ChatGPT isn't really good at one thing. It's kind of good at everything. The best thing that ChatGPT is actually and OpenAI is best at is APIs. It's by far the best APIs, the most reliable, the fastest, the most powerful, and at the cheapest cost. Like there's just hands down nothing better than that. So, like you guys, as a automation, as a person that's going to be making automations, like you need to use all of these tools. I mean, if you're not doing anything videos, then you wouldn't need to use videos. But if you're doing, you're probably going to do a little research. You're probably going to write some stuff, which will be Claude, and you're probably just going to need the guy that knows about everything, which is ChatGPT. So you're going to need to know all of them. So in this slide, we're talking about basically just building the idea here of that of what are agents. An agent is basically a person. One agent can do what one person can do. But what happens when you put a bunch of agents together, AI agents? Well, that's when you get a team, a multi-agent orchestration running together. And then we can get something like an organizational transformation, which is basically what Adam Robinson did over here. That's like level 3 in this pyramid, for example. Okay. And then you get to the entire enterprise level. So this is basically just painting the picture here that not only will does it AI agents, increase individual productivity, but also team automation. And, it just makes you as a team, as a business, insanely more competitive. So like, yeah, we have to do it. Okay. Now you've probably heard a lot of terms about generative AI and agentic AI. Coffee break. Good coffee. So not every, I mean, there's some people have talked about like what's the difference between agentic and generative. 100% need to know this. We all need to know this. Okay. So I'm going to go over this really quick. So generative is the one that we all know. It's the chat GPTs. For example, I give it an image and I tell it to modify the image like we see here in the Nano Banana. That's generative because it's generating something based on an input. The input is used the human or another AI agent, for example, and you're telling it to do something. And it does that one thing that you do. It generates something, right? So that's generative. That's how you remember it. You remember it because it generates. That's it. Whereas agentic doesn't generate things per se. It can do things, it can do outputs, but it does things based on what it thinks that it wants what you want it to do, for example. So, for example, agentic AI would know that you have an upcoming, that you're going to be flying somewhere, and it will check to see if you've purchased your flight ticket. If not, it will go and purchase the best flight ticket based on X conditions that you give it. Like you only want direct, it has to be below a certain price. I don't know, specific seat, for example, an economy. It will just go and do that without you telling it to do that. Or it will execute the sale of a stock, for example, based on conditions that you gave it. Or it will purchase something, like, for example, you ran out of staples or whatever, and it knows that we're out of staples, and it will go purchase more staples and more other things, office supplies that you need. I don't know. But that's what it does. It does things knowing that you will have this problem or going to have this problem today, and it will solve the problem for you on your behalf. It will take action based on those things. Okay. Now, you've probably heard of RAG, right? Retrieval Augmented Generation, which is just a mouthful. So that's why everyone just calls it RAG. Not like a rag, like a household rag like this that you'd use to wipe something up. Not that. This is very different. RAG is really powerful. It's basically a concept. The idea behind it is that you give it a question and it can search across thousands of documents, thousands of files, and extract certain things out of those documents to answer your question. Versus, like, think about a lawyer in an office, and that lawyer is basically like looking, I don't know, looking through thousands of books, trying to solve like, does this case in the specific action, does this law apply to it? Which laws apply to it, right? That's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. That's extremely complex task to process. Only Reg can do this because if Reg can do like Reg can basically, it's like think of like AI agents, like basically humans working together. It can do these, it can you can program it like AI agents and they can work together to solve this problem. So Reg can do this. It looks at the question and if look at the relevant documents, it does like smart lookups. It has a knowledge base. It knows stuff about your business. It knows specific things to look for, etc. It's a really smart way to get a question and to get an answer to a question really fast. Now, what we're all here for is AI agents. Well, and this is what everyone you're here to learn AI agents. You got to know this stuff. AI agents is essentially a human. And so, what do humans have? Well, they have a body. The body is the agents. They have a brain. The brain is the LLM. You as a human, you have a memory. So does an AI agent. And you as a human, you have access to tools because somebody is going to tell you to do something like a customer or a boss or whatever, and you're going to need to use a tool such as an iPhone, a computer, or software or whatever to do that task, right? And then there's a prompt template, and you're like, well, how does that apply to a human? Well, there's going to be customers will tell you things that they want, right? And like how they want something to be done, like make my sandwich this way, or I don't know, solve my problem in this way, whatever. That's basically a prompt. That's a prompt template. And that's what makes us essentially, that's the architecture of a human. So basically, AI agents, the architecture of an AI agent is programmed around humans because AI agents are quite literally human copies. That's what they are. Okay, so you're probably thinking, okay, John, I'm sold. I need to learn automations. If I don't learn this in a few years from now, I'm going to be irrelevant. I'm going to have to go to the farm. I don't want to go to the farm. I want to stay a part of the digital economy because I love my Zoom calls. I love working from the beach or whatever, which we're all doing right now. So so how do I learn this stuff? Like there's just like hundreds of resources, thousands of resources. This is overwhelming. Where do I get started? No worries. You get started with learning, first of all, YouTube. YouTube is a great resource. I mean, there's also me. You can learn from me. I have a school community. Like, for example, let me show you, bring it on my school.com. But you want to use all these resources. And so you'd want to go to, for example, my agentjschool.com community. I have a classroom. In the classroom, you just follow the steps of where to get started. Community guidelines here, N8N crash course, for example, AI automations. What is this? You can just learn this stuff. So I got a school community that I'll tell you the basics of how to do stuff. There's a ton of people on YouTube that give comprehensive guides and steps on how to do stuff. This guy is one of the biggest guys here on YouTube. I'm not the only one that has a school community. There's tons of communities out there. People are charging for this or they're free like me, and we're all just basically helping each other. So those are the two main tools that I would use. YouTube and school. YouTube is actually great for something now. It's not just for watching, I don't know, music videos or travel videos or cooking videos or whatever. It has a lot of utility. Like you can learn to basically do automations. I learned almost all of my what I know in automations from YouTube and from being a part of school communities and just working with other people at the same level as me. It's important that when you're learning this stuff, it has to be people at the same level as you. Because if you're working with somebody that's an advanced, well, they're not going to want to help you. But if you're a beginner and the other person's a beginner, well, then you can help each other because you're going to have the same questions, right? So yeah. And then use LMs. LMs. And that's why I said over here, like you need to use, it's not just automations or AI, it's both. And you have to know which AI to use to help you because so many times I've had so many problems and I just give it to Claude or I give it to ChatGPT. And ChatGPT and Claude reads my automation, reads the code and says, John, you're an idiot. You forgot there's a syntax error. You put an extra character here. You put this node in front of that node. You're not supposed to do that, dummy. And I'm like, you're right. I'm stupid. You're smart. AI, because literally AI is just like a bajillion PhDs. That's what they are. I don't have PhD. I'm not that smart. They are. They are smart. So though that's your best friend. AI is like will help you with pretty much anything. Claude Code is by far the best. It's even really good at diagnosing workflows as well. I spent like 3 hours this morning with Claude, just going back and forth and figuring out why the hell data wasn't properly passing between my complex multi-orchestrated workflows. ChatGPT is also very good, and same with Grok. Now, then you're probably thinking, okay, a lot of different AI automation tools out there. Make.com, I'm sure you've heard of. N8N, we all know about that. N8N's scary, right? Like N8N is like, ooh, it's black. There's a lot of nodes. It's really complex. It's like, I think I'm just going to learn Make.com. Make.com is white. It's more friendly. Which one should I use? Um, you should use both, but if you're only going to learn one, I strongly recommend starting with N8N. N8N is just like make.com, it's also no code. You can build a tool in N8N not using any code whatsoever. And I'm gonna show you this. I'm gonna build an AI agent. We're gonna do it together. I'm gonna build in 5 minutes. I'm gonna show you this in a second with no code, zero code. And whereas make.com is super limited with what it can do. It can only do a workflow like this, like that's it. Whereas N8N can do those huge workflows that you saw. And they have AI agents. This is an AI agent. N8N is like the only one that has AI agents, which is basically a human replica, which is extremely valuable versus Make. Make does not have AI agents at all. So for that reason, do not use make. I mean, it's better than Zapier, for example, but it can't replace a human. Whereas N8N, yeah, it's literally armies of digital humans, AI agents, right? So, okay, cool. It's the part where I stop sharing my screen. I go into my N8N. This is one of my complex workflows that I was working on this morning. We're going to get out of this. So I'm just going to save this. And we're going to make an AI agent together from scratch. So I'm just going to go into create new workflow. This is the first step that you take when you're making anything new is you go into a new workflow. You're going to see a blank canvas like this. I can zoom out. See, we're on a blank canvas. There's nothing here. So first step is to add your node, right? So we click on that and then the heck? Click. There we go. And then we get some options here. So a workflow has to be triggered by something, right? Like you as a human, you get triggered by something. And by triggered, I mean like not like social justice triggering, like climate justice or whatever that is. I mean, not whatever that is, but whatever is triggering you in that moment. Not that. I mean like somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, you need to get this thing done." You're like, "Oh shit, yeah, I need to do that thing." Or you remember you gotta water the plants. Or your wife or your husband is telling you that you need to help them with something. That's a trigger. Those are a trigger. That's a starting point. Or you getting asked by somebody to do something, like you're getting asked a question. That's a trigger. So everything gets started by trigger. You as a human, when you're doing a task, you get started with a trigger. AI agents also get started with a trigger as well. Workflows get started with a trigger as well. Okay, so that's how you can understand a trigger. Okay. So there's a lot of different things that we can do when we first trigger workflow. We're going to just go and we're going to type in agents. We're going to see AI agents. We're going to click on that. Cool. Now we got our AI agent here, and you can see that there's input module over here, there's output module, and then there's a bunch of things here. We're not going to go into this too deeply, but then you're going to see things at the bottom like chat mode, memory, tool. Okay, cool. So now we exit out of this. We got the agent. We got a red box down here, which means it doesn't work. Whenever you see a red box in any picture of any workflow, that means it's not working. For example, if I go ahead and I open chat here and I say, hey, nothing happens. I get an error. Ah, coffee. And so that's how I know it's not working. I even get in a little error message down here. And why is this not working? I don't know if anybody can answer this question. Well, it's because, like a human, when a human doesn't have a brain, the human doesn't work. I know it's a bad way of, it's a crude way of putting it, but it's true. It's the same thing with the AI agent. When the AI agent doesn't have a brain, it doesn't work. So let's give it a brain, right? Like that's what it is. So as you can see, there's different types of brains that we can give it, like a lot of different brains that we can give it. We're gonna give it not a llama, not OpenRouter, but we're going to go to OpenAI because OpenAI Brain, as I mentioned before, is the cheapest and best. And there's different types of sub-brains or models within OpenAI. So many different types here. I like 4.0 Mini because it's the best in terms of cost and quality. It's just the highest. So we're going to give it that. So now we got a brain. We can go ahead. We don't have to save it. So now I can go ahead and test it. Say, hey, and we can see it's running. And we can see down here, it says, I'll zoom in so we can see, hello, how can I assist you today? Cool. It's working. Cool. But it's just simple chat GPT. It's not that smart. Like, for example, if I say, what did I just ask you? It's not going to be able to answer this. It seems that there hasn't been a prior question in the conversation. Well, we know that's not true. There has been a prior conversation, right? You as the human, you know this. I as the human, I know this. Why do we know this? And why does the AI agent not know this? Well, it's because there's no memory. So we got to give it a memory, which is this here. Let's go and give it a memory. Okay, cool. Let me zoom out. So as you can see, there's different types of memory because there's like a simple memory, kind of like the most simplest way of recording information, for example. That's the simple memory. The beauty of N8N, it gives you their own built-in simple memory. So we're just going to go and choose that for simple demo reasons. And then there is much more complex ways of documenting your information. Like it's like think about putting information like a factory, like a really detailed stored like an Amazon warehouse, for example. Like when you're storing an item in an Amazon warehouse, it's very specific with where how that item is stored, how that item is retrieved. It's the same idea. You can be as complex as an Amazon warehouse or as like your bedroom and you're just putting a book simply somewhere on a storage in your bedroom. And you as the human, you know that you left your book, I don't know, on a table dresser somewhere in your bedroom, right? That's the most simplistic way and the most advanced way. So with N8N, you can do everything. You can do the most simplest in the middle all the way to the most advanced. That's why N8N is the best because it gives you the most simple shit and the most complex. It's cool. So now let's go ahead and let's just copy and paste. Let's just test it to see if it works. What did I just ask you? It said you asked what I just asked you. What did I just ask you? So the memory's working. Awesome. We got an AI agent that's working. But then you're thinking like, wow, this is just like a simple chat GPT with a memory. Like, so what? It's not that really good of an agent. It can't really do that much. You're right. So in that case, what do? We add a tool. So when we add a tool, it can do a ton of different things with tools. For example, we can get it to modify AWS database. We can get it to go into ClickUp. ClickUp is a CRM or what is it, like a task management system. So we can get into ClickUp and manage our tasks within ClickUp. We can, it can do that automatically. CoinGecko, for example, look at our crypto. We can get to go into Discord and respond to people automatically on our behalf. You got to go into Dropbox, for example. There's just a plethora. We could get it to check out an invoice and read an invoice, read a series of invoices if we want. And you can hook it up to just for visual purposes. I'm going to show you how much stuff you can do. None of this is going to work, by the way, but you can do like infinite amount of tools, as you can see here, like quite literally infinite. So I'm gonna delete all these because this is just for just visual purposes. But yeah, and then you can have your own custom tools. Like for example, I can call my own one of my own workflows. I have a perplexity tool. Remember how we talked about earlier? Perplexity is the best researcher. So now I can call perplexity. Now I can say, okay, like, hey, I want you to search perplexity tool. I want you to use the perplexity tool to find out, I don't know, like what's a really specific piece of information that we want to find. I've been talking a lot about school.com, so let's do something like that to find out everything you can about the founders of school.com. So now it's going to run. And as you can see, look at that. It's running the perplexity tool, which is called the N8N workflow. And we can see it's going back and forth. Look at this. It found some information here. So about us, it found Sam Ovens, whoever that is. It found Alex Hormozy, we all know who Alex Hormozy is, the internet marketing guy. Cool. Look at this. So now it gave us a detailed response here. Cool. So now we know school.com was founded by 2019 by these guys, Alex Hormozy, blah, blah, blah. Great. So it can do deep research for us and it can do deep research. I can ask it more complex deep research questions, but these deep research questions will be better than ChatGPT because ChatGPT deep research is good, but it's not as good as Perplexity. What we've just built here is basically an agent. We've built an AI agent where the agent has ChatGPT brain and ChatGPT it's using its competitor Perplexity to do what we tell it to do. It's quite interesting how we've done this. We can even watch how the AI agent is basically interacting. So we have the AI agent here, it gets the inputs, it does the call. It's like, okay, I need to find the founders of school.com. So it does this call to the perplexity node. The perplexity mode gives us all of this detailed research here, as we see. The OpenAI model gets this research back, as you can see, so it gets it back as like basically code, as we see here. It thinks like, okay, based on this, based on the memory, based on when I know what's happened in the past, and based on the inputs, this is what the output should be. This is what I should write, right? So then it writes that. And then it gives us the response over here. So we just made basically a research agent. And I know I said I'd do it in 5 minutes, but I took a long time to explain a lot of things. If I wanted to, I could have done this in like 30 seconds, but I didn't. You get the point. You get the point, right? So I just made an AI agent, a complex AI agent with no code, and you just saw me click a bunch of buttons. That's it. Okay, so jumping back into where we left off in the presentation, which is here, going on to the next thing. Your next steps. Okay. So what do you need to do to learn automation? So learn what I just did, what I just showed you guys, because you should all know how to do that. What's the first? This is what I recommend. This is what you should do. You should start by getting N8N. Get N8N, install it. It's a free trial, no credit card for like 2 weeks. Get it, install it. And then the next thing that you do is you just use it. And then after that, once you get comfortable using it and, you can make like an agent like I just did, something like this. Well, that's when you start making stuff that solves your problems, right? Because like this isn't it. We all have things in our day, task, processes, procedures that takes up time. And these are things that we do every day and it takes up a lot of time. So you start identifying those high impact processes that take up more than 2 hours per day. And you figure out Like, how can I automate that, right? Start with the simple stuff, the email, data, customer interaction, stuff like that. These are just ideas. And then you can gradually scale with agents for more complex stuff. So you start at the simple stuff and you work your way up, and you just really take the time to basically audit your processes. Think about it. Or you can hire somebody to audit your processes, for example, if you want, as a business, or it's what you're doing in your life. You can hire Damon here because Damon been doing this stuff professionally for a while. So he doesn't really do so much of process optimization and auditing, but he can. The point being is that
I'm here.
that's
I'm
great,
for
Dave.
sale.
There we go. He's there. He's for sale. He's open, guys. You can hire him. Or there's lots of people that want to do this stuff for hire. You can find them on Fiverr. You can find them on Upwork. You even find them on LinkedIn, for example. There's a lot of people that are joining the automation revolution, and they want to audit your processes. They want to figure out what's taking you up the most time. And they want to propose solutions for you. So, and you can do it yourself. But point being is that um, over the next month or so, you'll figure out how to save 5 to 10 hours per week. Over the next 3 months, you'll figure out how to use AI agents to handle business processes, which will save not just like 5, 10 hours a week, but like tens of hours per week or more. Then you'll figure out how to generate more money or save a significant amount of money with AI agents, which just means a shit ton of more money in your pocket, right? And then your AI automation advantage becomes insurmountable to the point where you automate people's jobs. Right? Which is what's basically happening, and which is what you can get to as well. So yeah, you got two options. This is the last slide. Path or two paths. So path one is you can continue with the status quo, or path two is you can learn AI automations, even just the basic level. Like the basic level is what I just did. That's basic, but that's really powerful. So if you do path one, pretty good chance you'll lose your job or your business. So recommend not doing that. Or you can do path two, which is, I'm being a little edgy here when I say this, but you can automate somebody else's job or automate your competitor business. Like, you can. That's a lot of work, but it's entirely possible. So yeah, just to prove that AI is so powerful, this entire presentation you see here, I made with AI, with a combination of Gamma. I used Claude to write a lot of it. I pulled in some images off the internet, as you can see here, like this. But as a human, I just spent like 30 minutes just editing it. But if I had to make this whole presentation from scratch, including all these images, this would have taken hours. I would have had to hire developed designers, like I made this whole thing with AI. So yeah, that's it, guys. I will open it up to questions. So you can just go, or you can raise your hand, one of the two.
Hey, I got a question here.
Hey,
Hey,
Arthur.
John, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man.
Thanks. For the agent you just showed,
Yeah.
would you need an API for either GPT and Perplexity in order to be able to connect them?
Yep. 100%. So very, very good question. So I glanced over that. I mean, glanced over that. I didn't talk about that, but yes, 100%. So as you can see here, you have to put in your own API account, OpenAI account. And as you can see, I have my own API key here. Obviously, I'm not going to
Hmm.
show that to you, but that's what you would
Yeah.
need. Same thing with Perplexity. Same thing with basically any of the tools that you're using
Google,
on here. You
whatever.
need your own credentials, basically. Yeah. You even need your own N8N with your own login credentials for N8N. So yeah.
Okay. And do you know how much, like, how does that work? Like,
The
basically,
cost?
yeah, if I'm
Yeah.
paying for knitting to create these workflows, it's like a two-part question I have.
Yeah.
So it's like, does it cost extra if I just have a regular pro account, not the pro, the plus account, I guess, on GBT? Or like, do I need a special account with chat in order to be able to call it out like that?
No, no, there's hang on. So yeah, two-part question here. Let's pull up N8N pricing. So part one is N8N just, you have to pay, I think it's like $20 a month. That's it.
Mhm.
And basically you get your own shared project with unlimited users and whatever. You need to think about these automations are hosted somewhere. They're hosted on servers.
Mhm.
So the beauty of N8N is you can self-host it. As you can see, my see the URL here, n8n.launchpadfast. That's my business. So it's a subdomain, which means that n8n is hosted on my own personal server. So I'm paying about $10 a month for my own virtual private server. Or the much easier path is you just pay about 20 euros, $21, whatever per month, and N8N just hosts it yourself. Now, the second part of your question is like, you just need to have N8N and that's it. There is no like, I don't know, you pay more and you can get access to more tools. That doesn't exist. That's
Mhm.
not an option. It's just it's up to you to decide what tools you want. And so, for example, like if you want OpenAI, you're gonna have to buy credits, like
Okay,
OpenAI
that was
credits.
interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
And so let me pull that up. But OpenAI is extremely cheap. Like, let me just show you how cheap it is. Like you're gonna be thinking like, holy shit,
I did
I'm
I did
wasting so
Cloud
much money
Code.
right now
Yeah.
on
I did
look.
Cloud Code for a bit and I was like, oh shit, I didn't spend anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like look at this. I've used 30 million credits tokens, and that's cost me $1.27.
Fair.
That's
Okay.
nothing. That's nothing. And I have like a ton of workflows running. I'll just leave without saving here. And I'll show you all of my executions for all my workflows. As you can see, they're running all the time. And
Hmm.
all of these workflows are all, I got to figure out what's going on here, but all these workflows are all basically using uh, ChatGPT as the brain for like, they all have AI agents within them and they're all using ChatGPT. Now, Perplexity is more expensive, much more expensive, and Claude is, from my experience, Claude is like probably the most expensive. Actually, Gemini is really expensive too. Yeah, I
Hmm.
accidentally used Gemini a lot. The API, and damn, is expensive. I spent like $60. I didn't even
Oh,
know.
okay.
Yeah, so Gemini is expensive. So I just switched everything from Gemini to ChatGPT because I had no idea it was so expensive. With Google, you can go into Google Cloud, for example.
Right.
And
And
you
the
you can take a look at
there's
the
an
cloud
API
console.
key per like
Oh,
per
this isn't
service
it.
or whatever.
Yeah, so you can. This is the wrong one, but yeah, you can go ahead and you can take a look at the stuff that's there, and it's showing my old accounts. That's weird. But anyways, the point is you can see all of your usage there, and yeah, they charge me a lot of money. And I had they give you credits, they give you free credits. So I didn't even know it was costing me stuff until I ran out of the free credits, and then I
Mhm.
got a bill one month. It's like you owe us like $70. I'm like, what? What?
Uh, and I'm just gonna do one last question now
Yeah,
if
sure.
everybody else wants to ask. So every time I've seen N8N, it's like this workflow, which is similar to another software I use in architectural design, but that's besides the point. Um, is there any way to have like a front end to that workflow
Yeah,
where it's like, you can look at all the wires, but
yeah,
I just want like two buttons on a white page
yeah.
that does the thing and everything else is being done in the background.
100% yes. That's a more complex technical
Okay.
question,
Okay.
but to answer it, you would want webhooks. Do you know what webhooks are?
Absolutely not.
Excellent. So, for example, activator, I just built this thingy that kind of shows your question. I have this thing running. See, I got this email that's generated automatically through N8N. It triggers a workflow, and when I trigger it, I just click a button. I click a button here, and as you can see, I got a success message. I can change this so it could be a web page, but it's basically saying that a workflow has been triggered. So I just click the button, and now if I go to my N8N, there we go.
Something is running.
Yeah, something's running now, basically. This is it. This is the one that I want to run. So now the workflow is running. So, and it's running because I clicked that button. That's the only reason why it's running. It only runs based on that. If I can click on stop execution here. And this is the workflow I was working on this morning. So that's why I got a bunch of errors here. But as you can see, here. This is the webhook node here. And so the webhook node receives the data. As you can see here, that's how I
Here's
can
the
prove it
click
was
or
me.
whatever.
There's me. See, workflow name, lead mag 3, handle comments. And if I go into here, see, that's the one that I clicked. LinkedIn Meg, LI lead mag 3 handle comments. I clicked on that. And then this is the data that came in from the button. I programmed it to do this. So that's how you would do it. You would use webhooks. And you can have these webhooks. Basically, this is just HTML. So this HTML can be anywhere. It can be in an email, it can be on a website, it can be anywhere. So
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So an example of webhooks, you can set up Salesforce. Under certain conditions, it's going to post a message out to a webhook,
Yeah.
which would be like an automation that we created or
Yep.
an integration platform that we're using. And so it'll send that message out into to the webhook. You receive that, and then you can take that payload and do with it whatever you want. So
Yeah.
in the example of Salesforce, okay, I just won a deal. Well, now I need to go set up a customer over in maybe NetSuite. That's an ERP tool that we're using.
Hmm.
So based on that webhook response, you could turn around, take that payload, and then using the NetSuite API, create that new customer or create that new deal for an existing customer.
Got it.
Damon's
Okay.
been doing this for a while, so he's been
Cool. Thank you. No,
So,
I'm
so the
webhooks
enjoying.
much
only
more than me.
I do want to say one thing, in terms of access, right? You're going to need API access, for example, to NetSuite or to Salesforce.
Right, of
And
course.
so, as a developer, um, maybe you don't want to go out and buy that access. It can be expensive, but you rely on your prospect or your customer
Mhm.
to provide
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that access to you, those API keys and things like that, so that you don't have to, you know, deal with that expense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Great
Cool.
questions. Thanks, Arthur. Okay. How many people we have on the call here? Let's take a look. We got a solid amount of people here. Cool. Like 10 to 20, something like that. All right. Any other questions? Shakila, I know it's late your time. Oh, I see. Sure if I'm saying your
I
name
would
right.
like to know if that possible to have the copy of your presentation is very well done. Is that possible, or
Um,
is confidential?
no, it's not confidential. I made this with AI, so but I mean I told it how I wanted it to be made and it went ahead and generated it and then I edited it. But yeah, this is going to be recording and it will be on YouTube and social medias. So yeah,
Oh,
you'll be able to watch it.
okay, very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Fabulous. I really enjoy.
Thank you.
Yeah, very, very much. I have to learn a lot about the AI, and I find the way you show it looks easy.
Yes. Yes. I
I'm
mean,
not sure that I can do it as you said, but I'll try.
well, you just got to learn the basics of systems and, like just got to learn how to get an N8N. What's your first step? Trigger manually. Okay, what do I do next? I can do a bunch of different stuff, but usually you want an AI agent. So yeah, this is it. Now we can get rid of this. So now we got our thing here. So we got our agent that's living on our blank canvas, and we can make it super complex. We can have this AI agent work with another AI agent, for example, and then we can have these two AI agents work with another AI agent. We can make this as complex as we want. The sky's the limit with what we can do. And each of these agents can be specialists in certain areas, for example. So, yeah, we can give them complex prompts. Right now, I haven't defined anything. So you can define below like a prompt. We can give it different types of prompts, like a system message prompt, for example. So there's a lot of things that you need to learn, but just start with the basics, like what I just showed you. Just being able to get a chat agent work connected to any of these, really. Connected to Anthropic if you want. Get the API keys hooked up, load on $5. That's it. Not a lot of money here. Um, just give it a go, really. Like
Sorry.
that's it.
Another Another question.
Sure thing, man.
Um, could an entity workflow, let's say you have all your files on a Google Drive and you're saving new files every day or you're generating a lot of files, right? Could an init workflow like look through the one folder you give it in Google Drive and like update an Excel spreadsheet? Okay, these files were saved on that date
Yeah.
and like create this kind of like tracking
Yeah.
thing automatically?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. hmm
Cool.
Yeah. It's pretty much sky's the limit. I mean, so for example, you said Google Sheets. So here we go. Here's a Google Sheets node. I can get it to create a sheet, delete a sheet, append a row in a sheet, clear a sheet.
Mhm.
I don't know, delete, yeah, get rows in a sheet, for example. And then you can search within all of the documents here. See, these are all of my sheets. I can get it to pull up information in my sheets, for example. So yeah, I can get it within to look in different types of sheets, as you can see here. So yeah, and I can just, for example, just get rid of this, just connect this, and then if I just execute it, it's just going to it needs to choose something, but basically it's just going to pull in everything. See if I just run it like this. Come on, click play. There we go. See, but you need to connect it. See, it just got everything from my sheet here. See,
Uh,
229 rows, like a lot. See, so pulled in all the data. So I got all my data here. Cool. See, we got a lot of items here. And then we can see it in the output here. See, it's all here. Cool.
mhm.
Mhm. Yeah. So then you can decide what to do with it. I
Or what to
mean,
do with it.
but yeah. But the main thing you want to do is you'd want to identify your processes. That's the main thing you'd want to do. I mean, it's always best to audit your processes before you go and you automate stuff because like you may turn out that the thing that you thought you wanted to automate actually doesn't take up too much time. It's actually something else that takes up a lot more time, much time and could be a lot easier to automate. Like changing things within Sheets is 100% possible, but it's a bit of work. It's not the easiest thing to do. It's not as easy as just setting up this AI agent like you
Sure.
just saw me do here. This is a lot easier, a lot more simple. Modifying words in text and values in Sheets is more complicated. Now, if you're doing that, like if you as the human are doing that like I don't know, 2 hours a day, and this is
No,
something you're doing every day, then yeah, you probably want to do that. Like if you're an accountant, for example, then yeah, you probably want to figure out how to partially automate this because it takes up a lot of time, right? Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, no worries, man. Martin, how's it going, man?
Do you give coaching to install the agent?
I think I'm gonna have a follow-up, and I'm gonna teach everyone how to do this. We're gonna spend an hour, and we're all just going to do this. That's it. So it'll be more complicated than this in AI agents, but I'll teach you all. We'll all learn by the end of like 1 hour. We'll all know how to have an N8N, how to have it connected to, for example, OpenAI, where to get our OpenAI keys, how to load up money on it, how to put the OpenAI keys into here, for example, how to do the connection successful. So I'm going to do that. And then eventually I'm going to make like a program, but that takes time. So eventually. So the answer is yes, I will be doing this.
And what's the cost to be
To be
to be coached
determined.
by you?
To be determined.
$1
Okay.
million.
Don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't made it yet, so I don't know.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you're still on the free
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, I'm busy. I have clients, I have products, so I'm just doing this stuff because I believe that we all need to know how to do
Sure.
this, because of my presentation here, like, like this
Mm,
stuff is happening. This is real. I'm not making
yeah.
this up. I didn't generate these images. These are copy and paste from the
Uh-huh.
internet. Yeah, it's crazy what's happening here. It's crazy what
Yeah.
organizations are doing. Like, we all have to learn this. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thank you
Catch
so
you next.
much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.